So I literally started recording this when Purple Valkyrie jumped into my studio. Purple, you have not even seen this.
I have not, no.
So this is according to the Hollywood Reporter. Their critics picked the top 50 best movies of the 21st century. Obviously, the last 23 years. Now, spoilers, I don't know a lot of these, and I never will. So let's get into this. Purple Valkyrie, we're going to start out with a movie which I'd never heard of called The Weekend, and it's set in the UK. Now, this movie features Tom Cullen and Chris New's performance. It is an unexpected emotional connection of wrenching acceptance, blah, blah, blah. It's about a steamy hookup between two gay Nottingham men that unfolds over 48 hours. Purple Valkyrie, have you seen this movie?
Not only have I not seen this movie, I have not heard of this movie.
Well, see, you're a racist. You have internalized misogyny just like me. That brings us to Hollywood Reporter's number 59. Well, it seems to me the Hollywood Reporter could be a little racist. Look at how low this movie is. I thought this movie changed everything in Hollywood because it's the first time African Americans or Africans in general have ever appeared on any screen anywhere. Purple Valkyrie, tell me what you think about the MCU with this movie.
I'm shocked that this isn't at least in their top 10 with how popular it was portrayed in the mainstream media. This film was basically the epitome of and the best that the MCU could have given us.
Until we got, of course, WandaVision, and then, of course, Loki, and then I don't even know what they're doing because I'm out on the MCU. That brings us to a movie from 2020 called Time. Now, if you're going, what the hell is that? So am I. This is a movie about, yes, you guessed it, African-American incarceration. It combines original footage with nearly 2 decades worth of home videos. Never saw it.
Nope.
Won't see it. Yes. Its subject is a black woman, a mother, and an abolitionist. Yay, woke points. Brings us to 47, a movie called Bright Star from 2009. Purple Valkyrie, have you heard of this?
Nope. I'm seeing a pattern forming with this particular list.
This is apparently Jane Campion's fine balance between the sumptuous and the trenchant. Features Ben Whishaw and Abby Cornish in deeply felt performances. Apparently, this is a movie about rejecting the period's oppressive social conventions. So, of course, it made the list. That brings us to 46. Now, Purple Valkyrie, I know you must have saw this one. This one is called Pariah.
Nope. I'm not doing very good at this. Apparently, I don't watch enough films.
Well, I haven't seen this, and but here's the thing. It is a potent and sobering yet hopeful narrative about a young black lesbian's journey to self-acceptance. Didn't see it, not going to see it, don't care. That brings us to number 45, Bridesmaids. Purple Valkyrie, I'm sure you've seen this. You're a chick, right?
It's a chick flick. I've seen about 15 minutes of it, and then I realised who the cast was, and I just noped out of there. Kirsten Wiig, no thank you, and Paul Feig, no, can't deal with him.
So it mentions a pair of sublime comic set pieces that deserve a spot in film studies. I don't think so. I'm not going to see this. That brings us to number 44, Things to Come from 2016. Purple, have you seen this?
I have not, no.
I have
What's
not
this one about?
either. This is from French director Mia Hansen-Love, and it's about young people experiencing life-changing events, whether breakups, death of loved ones, or careers cut short by failures.
Wow.
I'm sure there's some gay stuff in there too, but I didn't see this.
Do you know what that's called? Life.
Yeah, it is called Life, and it was actually a lot harder when I was in my 20s. This brings us to 43, one of the stupidest movies and cautionary tales I've ever seen, called Grizzly Man from 2005. Have you seen this movie, Purple Valkyrie?
Now, this I have actually seen, and yes, this is the best thing I could say is a cautionary tale. Don't believe that grizzly bears are your friends.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a huge shout out to anybody who's one of those environmental lunatics who thinks that we're all just gonna take a tambourine into the woods and hang out with bears and pretend that they're not effing carnivores at the top of the food chain. Spoiler, he dies in the end, but not just him. Negligently, in my opinion, his girlfriend is also mauled to death by a bear. But apparently that's what the Hollywood Reporter is into. I don't get it. That brings us to 42. Movie called Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always from 2020. Purple Valkyrie, have you seen this movie?
No, and that title alone would have put me off.
Well, I haven't seen this and I probably won't, because this is about New York City and wanting to end a pregnancy with a film steeped in its naturalism that's low-key yet electrifying. So if you're looking for a movie that dramatizes getting an abortion, this one's for you. That brings us to 41, Pan's Labyrinth, 2006. Purple Valkyrie, what's your read on this one?
This one is actually one of my absolute favourite films. I am shocked that it's, well, perhaps not shocked that it's so far down the list, but it is a beautiful film by Guillermo del Toro.
I've seen this. I think it's okay. It's not my favorite movie. I'm not going to lie, but there's room in this fandom. You know, maybe I have wrong think, but I just didn't like it. I thought it was beautifully done, but I didn't like what was done with the movie. That brings us to 40. Purple Valkyrie, have you seen this? This is from 2021, The Summer of Soul.
I haven't. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. No.
This is maybe the first movie on this list so far that I would like to see, because this features almost forgotten footage that were filmed in 1969, and it's expertly weaves in recordings of Stevie Wonder, Sly and the Family Stone, B.B. King, Mavis Staples, Mahalia Jackson, and Nina Simone. This is a movie that I actually do want to see, so that's probably the only one so far out of the first 10 that I care about. Yeah, I totally want to see that movie. Does it mean it's in the top movies of this century? I don't think so. That brings us to 39. And it is I Am Not Your N-Word from 2016, to the shock of no one. This is a documentary. Obviously, this is based on James Baldwin, the discovery of him. And of course, it talks about all the racism and everything else in that. Purple, have you seen this?
I haven't. No, I haven't heard of it either.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I don't think I'm going to see it. I read James Baldwin. I am very familiar with him, but I don't really want to see anything, even if it's narrated by Samuel L. Jackson, that's going to be entirely probably agendized, which is sad. Number 38, Children of Men. I just recently watched that movie with Bray of Wakajasu's Tea House. What's your take on the 2006 film?
Honestly, I was not a fan of it. I think it's far too bleak. I think it's got a very confused message, and even though it's got a powerhouse performance by the lead, I don't know, I think a lot of people seem to have very fond nostalgia for the film, but it doesn't bear up to rewatching.
That was for me. When this movie first came out, I loved it. I actually thought it was brilliant and fantastic. And then as we've slowly slipped as a civilization into what this film really kind of resembles in a lot of ways, it's lost its charm for me. Not to mention some of the stars in this that are just some of the most raving lunatics out there. Now, of course, this gentleman here who is the protagonist of our film, whose name escapes me. Why can I never remember this guy's name, Purple Valkyrie?
Yes, he's obviously a very good actor, but he's one of those character actors, isn't he?
Well, I wanted him to be James Bond instead of Daniel Craig. I thought he would have been a better much James Bond. Do I think this is one of the best movies to come out in the 21st century? In the top 50, yes. But man, this would be way down the list for me. That brings us to number 37, Wendy and Lucy. I don't know what the hell this is. Purple, have you seen this? Wendy and Lucy.
I have not. No. I can't wait to see what's this one about.
This is a portrait of an American underclass drifter as a perfect distillation of the director's slow cinema austerity. Oh God, her intimate gauge of character and indelible sense of place. It's got Michelle Williams and the Pacific Northwest writer, blah blah blah. Haven't seen it, don't want to see it, don't really care. Anybody see it in watching this? That brings us to 36. Now you have to have seen this. This is Lovers Rock from 2020. And this is a Steve McQueen movie from the Small Axe series. None of those words mean a damn thing to me. Purple?
No, you could have put those words in any order. It wouldn't have meant anything to me. Sorry.
Yeah. So the skilled British director doesn't only peddle an austere and muscular depiction of brutality. Obviously, this is the same person who did 12 Years a Slave. Again, don't really care for that kind of self-hating, bean-flicking genre. Haven't seen it, don't care. Maybe it's good. I don't know. That brings us to number 35, the favorite from 2018. Now, what I know about this is it's got lesbian sex set in the Elizabethan era, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
Yes.
You seen this, Purple Valkyrie?
I haven't. No, it seems like it's interjecting today's sensibilities into the past where it probably wasn't as prevalent as they would like to think so.
No, apparently Olivia Colman won an Oscar for her brilliant portrayal of Queen Anne, who was afflicted with gout and possibly bipolar disorder, and she's also what they say is a lesbian, because that's what you have to do with period pieces. Now, that brings us to 34, The Social Network, with that asshole actor that I cannot stand is in this, Mark Zuckerberg. Rise. Purple, have you seen this? Did you like this movie?
I saw some of it. I got bored of it, and this is somebody who actually hates Facebook. So, I actively avoided this film. But,
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate Facebook, too. I'm starting to really hate Twitter. I'm starting to really resent Twitter. That brings us to 33, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Purple, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's about lesbians. Have you seen this movie?
I haven't, but I'm going to second that. It's probably about lesbians, yes.
Let's take a look. Oh, this is set in the late 18th century and revolves around women who have few options beyond marriage or domestic service. So there you go. It's set during the 1700s and shows the oppression of women by having these hot chicks who they say are lesbians in an era where you'd be very lucky to live to the age of 35 because everything killed you. 32 is The Return from 2003. This I do not know. This is from Russian director blah 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 Russian words. It won a Golden Lion at the Venice Film Festival and is perhaps it has dense obliqueness and mystery with an unknowable, sometimes cruel patriarch at its center. Have you seen this, Purple?
No. They're raging against the patriarchy in Russian now.
Well, it says it's one of the most exciting and influential Russian films of the quarter century, spearheading a resurgence of the country's cinema. I bet you I don't care.
At the moment, I doubt it.
I don't know. I don't care. Number 31, Manchester by the Sea from 2016. Purple Valkyrie, did you see this?
I haven't seen this, no. Doesn't mean anything to me, unfortunately.
Did I see this? If I did, I don't remember. I don't really need to go see movies about trauma and emotional loss and all this other stuff because you know what? I've actually lived my life and had a lot of trauma and emotional loss and had to overcome things. So I don't need to fetishize it. Now, this may be a good movie. I know that it was popular at the time. This involves Casey Affleck. Actually, Affleck, not Affleck. Yeah, if you saw it and you like it, leave a comment below. Let me know if I'm being an asshole. I didn't see it, and I still don't have any interest in it. That brings us to number 30. Here's some cringe. This is Marie Antoinette. Purple, have you seen this?
I haven't, but I do remember it coming out, and I remember them pushing very hard to really make people go see this film, but other than the very lavish costumes, it didn't appeal.
The one thing I remember about this was the soundtrack. Now, this was directed by Sofia Coppola. Of course, she did Lost in Translation and The Virgin Suicides, but it has a soundtrack. Now, you got to remember, this is set during the 1700s and has... It's the period before the start of the French Revolution where everybody started murdering everybody, but it has a soundtrack that features The Cure, Susie and the Banshees, Adam and the Ants, New Order, as well as Bow Wow Wow. Now, This is about the doomed queen who told them to eat cake with 80-cent alt-rock. I guess it's girl power to tell him to eat cake and get your head chopped off. What are you doing, Hollywood Reporter? Number 29, Purple, I know you've seen this one. The Death of Mr. Lazaruscu from 2005.
No, I have not. Have I missed out on something? Is this a gem that I need to go search for?
It looks like a homeless dude sitting with his cat. Now, this is from Romanian New Wave Cinema. After the wall fell, after they escaped communism, because the people who were doing communism, Ceausescu, were doing it absolutely right.
Yes.
But in 2000, spoiler alert, you know what the people did is they rose up and then beat him to death, set his body on fire, shot his wife, and then hung both of them out of like an 8-story window by their necks and shot them up until the birds ate them, because that's what you do to the leaders of communism. Spoiler alert. But anyway, this is from the new wave of Romanian cinema, and I don't know anything about this. Apparently it exposes the dehumanizing bureaucracy and presents a damning indictment of modern healthcare. Well, I can get on board with that. I can absolutely get on board with that.
Oh, yes.
But it's
So
set
that's
in
probably a universal thing.
Yeah, it's set in a purgatory of Bucharest emergency room and spiked with doleful absurdity. You know, I've been to Romania. I've been to Romania quite a bit. My brother lives in Romania, and Bucharest is not a happy place. Romania is a beautiful place. Romanians are great people, but like everywhere else, big cities are not fun places. Let's move on to 28. This is A Serious Man from 2009, Purple Valkyrie. Tell me you've seen this one.
I haven't. I'm beginning to regret my life choices. It seems I've missed out on
I'm not. I don't even know what the hell this is. A Serious Man. Torah, I don't even know what the hell this is. It's a Joel and Ethan Coen movie.
Yeah, that explains why I didn't see it. It's not a fan of the Coen brothers.
Okay, so it's the tale of a modern-day Job in a Midwestern Jewish neighborhood, not unlike the one they grew up in. So basically, it sounds like it's something I probably wouldn't be interested in. But there you go. Number 27, I can guarantee you, I haven't seen this, won't seen this, and this place can go to hell. At Berkeley from 2013. Purple, have you seen this? Have you ever heard of this?
I haven't. I've heard of Berkeley, and everything I've heard is generally not very good. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. So let's find out what the hell this is. So apparently Berkeley is 93 years old, and oh wait, no, this was from Frederick Wiseman, a true American treasure. He's been doing documenting institutions since the 60s. Apparently he does lengthy films that contain no interviews or voiceovers. He just lets the subjects talk. Now, he did a 4-hour movie.
Wow.
Of At Berkeley that shows the promise and pitfalls of higher education. There we go. Apparently it talks about what a pity it is that Berkeley doesn't have more money so that it can be even more woke and not face any consequences. I don't give a shit. I'm never going to see this. Now, this is Purple. I don't know. Your Spanish may be better than mine, but this is I tu mama tiam, Timbien. And if I butchered that, I'm sorry. From 2001. I have heard of this movie. I didn't see this movie. Have you seen this movie?
I haven't. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it, no.
Yeah, haven't seen it. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's not. You know, it is what it is. Got nothing to say about it. Call Me By Your Name. I've heard of this and remember this for one reason. And yes, it would be how woke it is. So, the gnawing, look at this. Vertiginous mixture of desire and embarrassment, elation and torment has been captured so ravishingly. It's about a 17-year-old boy and his summer romance with the Golden Boy student, Armie Hammer. Now, why do we all know Armie Hammer for? Well, for allegedly being a billionaire cannibal. Not allegedly being a billionaire, but one of the elite's kids who is into eating human beings. As a matter of fact, I think he was charged for that, or maybe he just paid somebody off, but there were a series of allegations. But this is a movie about underage gay sex with another guy, and yay, not going to see it. Number 24, Timbuktu from 2014. Purple Valkyrie, have you seen this? Do you care?
No, I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. This was apparently an Oscar-nominated art house film by a director who's unknown in the U.S. I'm not going to even attempt that name, but this movie is apparently a devastating look at religious extremism and its effects on a small city in Mali. I'll tell you what, Mali has not been a fun place to live, not just for the last 10 years, but for the last 50. I've had friends who were working there as aid workers who were women who were irrevocably harmed by that experience, but I digress. So this is a movie I really don't give a shit about. Whatever. I'm sure capitalism in America is to blame in this. That brings us to 23, 35 Shots of Rum. Purple, have you seen this?
I haven't, but if that's a suggestion, I could probably go for 35 shots just to get through this list.
Yeah. So let's see what the hell this is about, because I don't even care. The movie follows a widowed father, Lionel, and his daughter, Josephine, in a working-class suburb of Paris. Their laconic but loving relationship is upended when the daughter falls for their neighbor. Lionel must choose to accept his daughter's inevitable departure. So this is weepy French cinema, and let me guess, I don't even care. I don't even care. Whatever. That brings us to 22, Before Sunset from 2004. Purple Valkyrie, have you seen this chick flick?
Nope. I am not a big fan of chick flicks, I've got to admit, so very, very few pass my radar.
So without even looking at this, I saw the original, or the first movie. I think it was Before Sunrise, and that was actually a cool movie about this couple. I think one is an American and the other is a Brit or French, that find each other, take a like to each other, and then spend like 12 hours, 18 hours together before somebody has to get on a plane. I remember that. Now apparently they made this as a sequel, because that's what you do with everything. Okay, so they meet again 10 years after the events of the previous film and spend over 80 minutes of real time unfurling in long, beautifully lit takes. They walk, talk, and discover the spark they felt is still there. So yes, this is feelings on park benches. There you go. Didn't see it, not going to. That brings us to Parasite from 2019. Purple Valkyrie, did you see this?
Yes, actually, and I was surprised. This is a pretty good film. It's not to everybody's taste. It's quite gory. But if you like that sort of thing, give it a go. Yeah. And I think it took a lot of people by surprise.
So I haven't seen this movie at all. You're right about that. Apparently it won the Best Picture Oscar after snagging the Palme d'Or in Cannes or Cannes. So interesting. What begins as a droll study of the relationship between employee and employer takes a series of shocking turns. As it turns out, Bong, the master orchestrator, blah, 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 coaxes out the latent horrors of capitalism's social contracts. Is that what you got out of that, Purple Valkyrie?
No, I just thought it was a good film with a believable family.
Internalized misogyny strikes again. That brings us to number 20, Far From Heaven. Have you seen this movie?
I haven't. No, this one must have slipped past me.
Yeah. Didn't see this. Don't want to see this. Don't really care. I cannot stand the actress that is in this. She is insufferable and the epitome poster child, in my opinion, of everything wrong with leftist lunatic Hollywood. I'm sure that Julianne Moore, there it is, channeled her porcelain fragility into a Connecticut housewife whose well-heeled, seemingly perfect life begins to unravel. Yeah, I cannot relate to that. This movie wasn't meant for me. Do not give one shit. It brings us to 19, Drive My Car from 2021. Purple, you have to have seen this one.
No, sorry.
Anybody at all see this one? I have no idea what the hell this is. So this appears to be a Japanese film. What is the plot here? It's over 3 hours.
Wow.
And it apparently it builds steadily to a shattering emotional release, followed by a whisper of hope and healing. It observed the connection between I don't even know what this is. Recently widowed experimental stage director and the more taciturn driver assigned him for his preparations for a Hiroshima Theater Film Festival production. This may be a lovely, wonderful movie. It's not for me. I honestly don't care. Sounds like the art house film I would definitely miss. That brings us to 2018's Shoplifters. Purple Valkyrie, you must have seen this movie.
I haven't. Please tell me that this is 4 hours long and it breaks down all the social constructs.
Well, apparently this is the story of a ragtag, scrabbling, petty larcenous clan of Tokyo fringe dwellers who rescue, or actually kidnap, an abused 5-year-old.
Wow.
They say it's an intricately woven stunner, alive with grit, offhand humor, and fumbling tenderness, and its final 10 minutes are miraculous crescendo of confessions and farewells that will tear your heart out. I'm going to have to talk to Gray, our man in Japan, to see if he's seen this. I'm never going to see this movie. No interest. That brings us to number 17, according to The Hollywood Reporter, 2002's Talk to Her. Purple, you got to have seen this one.
I haven't. Clearly, the Hollywood Reporter are far smarter than I am.
So this is an exquisite mêlée fumiel, I don't know what the hell that means, of melodrama, black comedy, and whimsy, marked a summit for the director, Pedro Almodovar. I know that name. So Talk to Her has the queer in succulence. So it's got something involving queerness, and the wildness is tempered by maturity. And this is so masturbatory. These articles. Look at this. It's a medionomic call for the kind of emotional openness straight men often struggle to achieve. And well, just fuck this movie. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Whatever this is. I have a thesaurus too. I just don't use these words when I write professionally. I'm sure your cats appreciate you using these words. That brings us to number 16, The Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. Purple Valkyrie, thoughts?
This I have seen. I never quite got the hype for it. I mean, it was an okay film, but it was one of those films I never had any interest in seeing again. Yeah. I don't think there's much rewatch value.
I watched it once and I was like, okay, that's interesting. Never thought about it afterwards. It never provoked any thoughts or anything else. I thought Jim Carrey did a good job. Kate Winslet, I thought she did a good job. But again, absolutely no interest to ever watch this again. That brings us to number 15, The Power of the Dog. Purple Valkyrie, talk to me about the power of the dog.
I know several powers that dogs have, mainly to steal your food, but this I've heard of but haven't seen. So tell me, am I missing out? Do I need to go find this film?
This is another Jane Campion movie, so you know exactly who's writing this. It's adapted from a 1967 novel. I don't even know. It's about a gentlemanly Montana cattle rancher who brings his fragile widowed wife and her awkward beanpole son to live in their gloomy family mansion, stoking first the cruelty and vulnerability of his cold-hearted brother. Okay, no real interest. Apparently this has Benedict Cumberbatch in it.
A lot of things do.
So here we go. 2008 WALL-E is in the top 15 movies of the 21st century. For the Hollywood Reporter, talk to me about WALL-E.
Disney's ill-fated dive into my climate change. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, this is a beautifully animated film, but it beats you over the head with the idea that we are horrible people and we destroyed the planet and we deserved it.
Well, that's why it's on this list, of course. Yeah, Pixar, look at this. Yes, look at this. It says, has just the right blend of pathos, technical craftsmanship, topicality, joyfulness, and batshit crazy originality. Yeah. Here we go. It's basically my climate change bean flicking bullshit. That brings us to 13. This is 2018's Burning Purple. Have you seen this movie?
I haven't, no, actually.
I have no idea what the hell this is about. I'm not going to read you all the details about this one. Let's find out what it is. It's a hypnotically slow-building thriller with a real mystery at its core, but what makes Burning so memorable is Lee's piercing depiction of class envy and thwarted desire in contemporary Korea.
Sounds kind of pretentious.
It's not for me. Okay, that brings us to, here we go.
Oh,
yes,
Moonlight.
Moonlight from 2016, Purple Valkyrie. Tell me about this.
Didn't like it. Watched it. Couldn't quite get the hype for it. I mean, it was technically good, I guess, but again, never a film that I would probably watch again.
Was there a lot of gay stuff in this? Because I had heard that.
Yeah.
So that's all I know about this movie. That's all I care about this, that I care to know about this movie. I don't care, Purple Valkyrie. I'll default to your judgment in this. That brings us to number 11, Boyhood from 2014. Purple, have you ever seen this?
I haven't. I've heard of it, but honestly, it didn't appeal. I don't know. There was just something about this film that I steer clear of.
It's the Texas childhood and adolescence of a young protagonist. The passage of time is made real by the film's 11-year shooting schedule in a script developed throughout the period. This is not the only film I've seen them do this with. I believe this has been done with some films. This doesn't really interest me. This is from Art Linkletter's. I'm not a huge fan of that person's film, or Richard Linkletter's film. Not my type of thing. Number 10 is Get Out from 2017. Purple, you're a horror fan. Tell me what you think.
I, against my better judgment, did watch this. I will preface it in saying that I do not like Jordan Peele's work. I don't rate him as a director, but because everybody was saying what a fantastic film this was, I gave it a shot. I didn't think it was that great. I mean, the kernel of the idea, I guess, was interesting, and the cast portrayed is just fine, but it was far too long and far too self-indulgent.
But Purple Valkyrie, it sounds like you might be racist, because this film is characterized by quotable lines like, I would have voted for Obama for a third term if I could.
You probably did. Just saying.
I didn't. Yeah, my dead grandmother probably did. Yeah, Jordan Peele, there you go. That tells you everything you need to know. It's propaganda. That brings us to number 9. 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days, Purple Valkyrie. You had to have seen this. Tell me about this movie.
Not only have I not seen it, I have not heard of it.
So this is called 4 weeks, 3 days, 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days, 2007. This is 24 breathless hours in the lives of a college student seeking an illegal abortion. And the dorm mate selflessly helping her near the end of the communist Ceausescu dictatorship. The ironic thing about this is, again, I have family and friends who lived through what this was in Romania and what Ceausescu did. Educate yourself, and I don't use that in the SJW way. If you're a fan of communism, check out what communism does. I have no interest in this. I don't. What happened in Romania was terrible, and those people in Romania will never allow that to happen again. Much like the Poles, they'll nuke their own countries before they let them get taken by any communist state again. Number 8 is In the Mood for Love. Purple, are you in the mood for love from 2000?
Always, but missed this film. What's this about? Please tell me it's a musical.
This is war-car-wise, rapturous evocation of romantic yearning and missed opportunity as a sustained swoon of a movie that ushered in the new millennium. Holy shit, buy a period. A new millennium on the dreamy wave of seductive imagery, poetic storytelling, and roiling emotional currents. Apparently, this is set in 1962's Hong Kong. I don't know. Apparently, it's a couple that cheat on each other in the 60s. Maybe it's a good movie. I don't know. Now, this one brings us to number 7. Number 7 on the Hollywood Reporter's top 50 movies of the 21st century. The one, the only, Brokeback Mountain, Purple Valerie. Tell me what a stunning and brave this movie is.
Oh, so stunning, so brave. And I actually like both of the leads. I think Jake Gyllenhaal and the late, great Heath Ledger were fantastic actors, but this film was so full of itself. It's just not that enjoyable.
Do you know how this movie got made? Do you know the origin of the story of why they made this movie?
I don't, actually.
This was a very, very, very short story, and it was either in the Atlantic or the New Yorker, written by someone, and then somebody said we should make a movie out of it. It was literally a couple paragraphs, and that's how they made this movie. Now, everybody said this movie was fantastic. I got this in Redbox, made it to the end, and then said, why God did this get made? Again, I think Jake Gyllenhaal was fantastic. I think Heath Ledger was fantastic. I think the supporting actresses were in this. But you know who I felt sorry for in this Ang Lee movie were the wives of these characters who had to put up with this shit.
Yes.
I don't think it's a cautionary tale. I took nothing of value out of this. I just think this was Hollywood masturbating themselves. I really do.
It was, yeah. And it will be forever known as the gay cowboy film.
Yeah, and I think it was South Park said that, wait, one day they're going to make a movie about gay cowboys eating pudding, and then 2 years later, that movie came out. Now, Spirited Away, Purple Valkyrie, have you seen this from 2011?
I have. This is actually a rather beautiful film of Studio Ghibli. I like it. I thought it was good. You know, it's got great characters, beautiful animation, great music. I'm surprised that there haven't been more animated films on this list, but I guess you got to get more weird French and Russian films in there somehow.
Well, you got to have my LGBTQ plus in there.
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen this movie. I've heard really great things about it. Maybe this is one that I have to watch, but there we go. We've got a nice home run hit for Purple Valkyrie for Spirited Away. That brings us to number 5, Mulholland Drive. So let me tell you what I remember about this movie. Lesbian sex scenes. I fast forwarded through everything else and focused on those. And I have to say that they were fantastic. They really, really were. The rest of the story, I think, was complete batshit insanity from David Lynch. Now, I like David Lynch movies. I think this one in particular was dumb. Purple Valkyrie, did you see it? What do you think of this movie?
I haven't. This is one of those films that I always mean to sit down and watch, but never seem to get the time or the inclination to do so. But if you think it's worth watching, I will definitely give it a go.
Well, the only thing I think worth watching is if you're a heterosexual male and you want to see some hot lesbian sex scenes. Other than that, I got nothing for it. If you want to see a good David Lynch movie, there's a long list of them out there, but I would not go with this one. So that brings us to number 4, Zodiac. That was made in 2007. Purple Valkyrie, did you see this?
I have. I like this film, even though I think it's far, far too long. Obviously, it's about the infamous Zodiac killer. It's got a great cast, but it kind of loses its way. And like the Zodiac killer, it never really gets a satisfying conclusion for me.
What did you think about Robert Downey Jr.'s performance in this and Jake Gyllenhaal? I just was curious.
I liked them. I thought they were both great. Robert Downey Jr. is a little bit more of a... he takes a back seat, and it does unfortunately have Mark Ruffalo in, as so many things do. But Jake Gyllenhaal was great in it. I thought he was a great lead.
That brings us to number 3, Purple Valkyrie. I'm sure you've seen this, The Gleaners and I from 2000. Tell me about The Gleaners.
I wish I could. I've never heard of this film.
I haven't either. Up, this is the top in the top 3. This is a tour de force with Agnes Varda, kicked off the millennium, blah 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 blah. Heart-shaped potatoes, flea market finds, food waste, and economic disparity are just a few of the matters she explores with deceptive lightness. Don't give a shit, don't care, not going to see this movie. That brings us to number 2. There's only 2 movies left. Now, I want everyone to remember this is from The Hollywood Reporter, and these would be all movies made from the year 2000 until 2023. I want you to take a moment and think about what great movies came out in those 23 years. We're on number 2. This is Inside Llewellyn Davis from 2013. Purple, have you seen this movie?
I haven't, and I haven't heard of it either.
I've heard of this movie, no desire to see it. This is just not something that I give a shit about. I think it's a Coen Brothers film. It features Oscar Isaac, who delivers the performance of magnificent subtlety as a musician in 1961 New York who can't catch a break. Apparently, this is kind of in the vein of Broadway Danny Rose, that of course I think is one of the best movies of the 70s to ever come out, even though its director is allegedly a pedophile. But I had no desire to see this, so I'm whatever. So here it is, the number 1 movie, if you've hung with us this long, from The Hollywood Reporter. The number 1 movie of the past 23 years is Yaya or Yee or whatever the hell it is from the year 2000. Purple Valkyrie, you must have seen this.
My answer to that is what? No idea. What have I missed? What is this incredible film that is the best in the last 23 years, please?
Well, apparently this is from some dude named Edward Yang, and it was completed in 1999. It didn't premiere until the spring of 2000. The film's immediate success, including a Best Director award of Cannes, sealed the director's reputation as a major figure in Taiwanese new wave cinema. It's an epic 3-hour portrait of a multi-generational Taipei family in the midst of a crisis. It's filled with humor, romance, quiet rage, and despair, transforming modern lives into material worthy of a great novel. Look at how long this sentence is. I'm going to stab these people. So there you go. This was the list of the Hollywood Reporter's top 50 movies of the 21st century. Purple, I'm going to let you take a couple of walk-off shots on this. What is missing? What would a reasonable person think is missing from this list?
Well, that's easy. I mean, anything great fantasy, Lord of the Rings, obviously, beautiful trilogy from the early 2000s. Any of the original Marvel films, I think. We had some terrible ones, but we had some great ones as well that really elevated the superhero genre.
Wait a minute. Wait. You're saying that Black Panther isn't the best MCU Marvel movie ever? Is that what you're trying to say?
That in so many words, yes.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Yeah.
There were also some fantastic horror films that could have been put in as well. It's I don't know. Do we believe what the Hollywood Reporter is saying? Generally, I do not. But they seem to really want to push certain ideas in this list.
Yeah, this looks like a list of things that you would talk about at a cocktail party to try and trip up other people who are you're all trying to socially climb and fuck each other over to get more popularity and power within this industry. There were only, I'd say, 2 or 3 movies in this list that I would go see. There were an overwhelming majority of things that they weren't made for me, have no interest for me, and that's okay. If you're out there and you saw a movie that I didn't like, that Purple Valkyrie didn't like, please tell us in the comments section below what we're missing, why we should watch it. I guess we shouldn't be surprised by this. I guess we shouldn't be surprised by this, but I thought this was funny, and to me, in a lot of ways, it shows the very wide disparity between the actual audiences the actual people who want to go to cinema, what type of films we want, and then the people who are looking down at us and sneering at us for not liking what they say are these beautiful works of important blah, 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 blah. Purple Valkyrie, thanks for being on with me. If you stuck with us this long in this video, please hit that thumbs up. I'm sure to appreciate it. You all have a great rest of your week. Bye.
Bye.